everyone, in this video we will cover the current affairs. I am Nuzhat Sana. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GK Today Academy app. You can attend the quizzes on this app for better practice, and after that you can also read the detailed explanation of the questions you have missed. For regular updates, please check our Telegram channel. The link is given in the description box. You can subscribe to it if you find it relevant. For hard copy books, you can visit our website gktbooks.com. Okay. Also, our latest initiative is UPSC Prelims Test Series for 2021 and 2022 in GK Today Academy app. So if you are appearing in UPSC Prelims, you may consider joining this. So now, without wasting any further time, let's get started.
So today we'll be discussing most important MCQs for 31st of July 2021. Starting with very first question. As per the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Bill 2021, what is the maximum default amount to which pre-packed resolution is applicable? So recently the Lok Sabha has passed this Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Bill, and the bill will replace the IBC Amendment Ordinance 2021, which was promulgated in April month. And this introduced pre-packs as an insolvency resolution mechanism for MSMEs, that is micro, small and medium enterprises with defaults up to 1 crore rupees. So here correct answer is option number D. And under a pre-packaged process, main stakeholders identify a prospective buyer and negotiate a resolution plan before approaching NCLT, that is National Company Law Tribunal. Now apart from it, with reference to SEBI, can you tell me what is the expansion of SPAC? So actually SEBI is examining the effective public shareholding in listed companies, and it is also planning to introduce this SPACs in the country. And what does it stands for? It is Special Purpose Acquisition Companies. Actually this is a type of company with no commercial operations, and it is formed strictly to raise capital through IPO, that is initial public offerings, for the purpose of acquiring an existing company. Now apart from it, also SEBI has reconstructed recently its takeover panel. And what is the work of this panel? Actually it looks into application that seeks exemption from mandatory open offer, which as acquirer needs to make to minority shareholders. And now N. Venkat Raman, who is MD and CEO of Deloitte India, has been appointed as new member of takeover panel, and the panel is chaired by N.K. Sodhi, who is the former Chief Justice of High Courts of Karnataka and Kerala. Then few days back also SEBI has said to separate the roles of chairperson and MD in any company, so that their work should be clearly distinguished. Okay. Question number 2. What is the name of India's first indigenous physiological parameters monitoring system for COVID-19 patients? So COVID Beep is India's first indigenous wireless physiological parameters monitoring system for COVID-19 patients, and it has been developed by ESIC Medical College, Hyderabad, in collaboration with ECIL, that is Electronics Corporation of India Limited, and Department of Atomic Energy. So a proposal has been recently submitted to Ministry of Labour and Employment for large scale deployment of the system. Now can you tell me which is the first state to launch free COVID-19 vaccination through private hospitals using its CSR funds? So do remember that this is Tamil Nadu, and this scheme is being funded by CSR, that is Corporate Social Responsibility Funds of various companies, and under the scheme 130 private hospitals have been identified to provide free COVID vaccines to the people, and the union government procures 75% of the vaccines produced, and the remaining 25% is available for private hospitals, which is largely underutilized. Also few days back we have seen that Pune based SII will now produce the Russian COVID-19 vaccine Sputnik 5 in India? Question number 3. Which institution is implementing the Bamboo Oasis on Lands in Drought, that is BOLD project? So KVIC, that is Khadi and Village Industries Commission, has been implementing this BOLD project, and it was launched from a tribal village in Rajasthan in July month, with plantation of 5,000 saplings of special bamboo species. So recently KVIC planted 1,000 bamboo saplings at the North village in Jaisalmer in collaboration with BSF, that is Border Security Force. So BSF will be responsible for maintaining the plants, and it aims to reduce desertification and provide livelihood to the local population. Now few days back KVIC was also in news because it has secured trademark registration for its brand name Khadi in 3 of the countries, and which are they? Mexico, Bhutan and UAE. Then KVIC is also famous for one of its project called as Rehab. What is this? Reducing elephant human attacks using bees. So this project aims to prevent elephant human conflicts without creating any harm to either of them. So for this purpose, bee boxes are used as fence to prevent elephants from entering human habitation. And these bee boxes were provided as part of Honey Mission. Question number 4. Where is the headquarters of Geological Survey of India located? So this institution has taken up several lithium exploration projects in Arunachal Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Jammu Kashmir and Rajasthan, and the GSI is headquartered in Kolkata. So the AMDER, that is the Atomic Minerals Directorate for Exploration and Research, which comes under Department of Atomic Energy, has undertaken this lithium exploration in Karnataka as well as in Rajasthan. So this is seen as a part of India's energy security plans, and 18,100 crore rupees PLI, that is Production Linked Incentive Scheme, was announced recently to make lithium ion cells to promote e-mobility in India. Now talking about West Bengal, recently Mamata Banerjee government has passed a resolution in State Assembly on 6th of July for creation of a legislative council in the state under Article 169 of Constitution. Then also West Bengal Cabinet has approved the student credit card scheme with the help of credit card, and under this student can get a soft loan of up to 10 lakh rupees with the help of credit card to enroll into higher studies at just 4% of interest rate. Then few days back we have talked about Santanu Sen. He was MP from TMC, and recently he has been suspended from Rajya Sabha for rest of the monsoon session. Why? For tearing one of the minister's paper. Question number 5. Dholavira, a Harappan city, is presently located in which Indian state? So this is a Harappan city in the run of Kutch of western Gujarat, and recently it has been inducted into the list of UNESCO's World Heritage Site. And this makes it the 40th site from India to be inscribed into the list. Actually, this site was discovered in the year 1968, and it is known for its unique characteristics like water management. Then there is defensive mechanism and special burial structures, etc. Then apart from it, do remember that Kandla Special Economic Zone, that is KASEZ, is the first green special economic zone to achieve the IGBC Green Cities Platinum rating for existing cities by CII's IGBC. What is this IGBC? It is Indian Green Building Council. And also, Kasese was Asia's first export processing zone and it is considered as India's largest multi-product functional special economic zone. Okay. Also recently, Lok Sabha has passed National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management Bills 2021 and it has awarded the status of Institution of National Importance to NIFTEM, that is National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management, which lies at Kundli in Haryana, along with IIFPT, that is Indian Institute of Food Processing Technology, which lies at Thanjavur in Tamil Nadu. Now in the previous lecture we have discussed that Liverpool has been removed from UNESCO World Heritage status because the sites there were not preserved and maintained properly. And a temple from Telangana called as Ramappa Temple has also been conferred with UNESCO status. Question number 6. Earth System Science Data Portal, that is ESSDP, has been developed and launched by which ministry? So the Union Ministry of Earth Sciences has launched an integrated portal named as Earth System Science Data Portal, and this would make available various earth related data for the public. Actually, this portal was launched as a part of 15th Foundation Day celebration of the ministry on 27th of July 2021 and has been developed in tune with the Digital India initiative of the Government of India. So your correct answer is option number D. Now apart from it, recently the Department of Defence Production, which comes under Ministry of Defence, has approved a central sector scheme named as IDEX, which stands for Innovations for Defence Excellence. So the budgetary support for the scheme is 498.8 crore rupees for the next 5 years, and the objective of the scheme is to provide financial support to around 300 startups, MSMEs, innovators and about 20 partner incubators through DIO, that is Defence Innovation Organization. So grants under the IDEX is provided by SPARK, that is Support for Prototype and Research Kickstart. Now can you tell me which ministry is associated with India Cycles for Change Challenge? So actually Ministry of Housing Urban Affairs has launched this in the year 2020 to create cycle friendly initiatives across the country. And why it was in news? Because recently the ministry awarded 11 cities with the title of India's Top Cycling Pioneers. And with this, the next stage of the first season has started. So these top 11 cities shall receive an award of 1 crore rupees each to scale up their cycling initiatives. And the India Cycles for Change Challenge has also launched its first report named as The Dawn of India's Cycling Revolution, and now season 2 of the challenge has also been started. Then apart from it, the Agricultural Ministry has commenced the project of creating AgriStack, which is a digital ecosystem of agriculture in the country. So it aims to help the government in effective planning towards increasing the income of farmers and improving the efficiency of agricultural sector. So recently the Agriculture Ministry also announced that the government is aiming to create a national farmers database using digitized land records to provide personalized service to farmers. Okay. Question number 7. Which organization releases the World Economic Outlook report? So the IMF, that is the International Monetary Fund, has released an update to the World Economic Outlook for the month of July 2021. And under the title, Fault Lines Widen in the Global Recovery. Now, as per this update, the global economy is projected to grow 6% in 2021 and 4.9% in 2022. And the IMF also downgraded India's growth projection to 9.5% from earlier 12.5% for the year 2021 to 2022. Now apart from it, according to World Trade Organization report on the trend in world agricultural trade in the past 25 years, India has entered into the top 10 list of agricultural produce exporters in 2019, and its main exports are rice, cotton, soybean and meat. And India's share in global agri exports was 3.1% in 2019, and with this India is at 9th place. And this time European Union in 2019 overtakes the USA as a top exporter, and USA is at 2nd place and Brazil is at 3rd place. Also, as per our recent data provided in Lok Sabha on fish consumption in India, people from Lakshadweep ate 105.6 kilogram fish per person in the year 2019 to 20, and they eat nearly 300 grams of fish every day. Then apart from it, UNGA, that is United Nations General Assembly, has approved first ever resolution on vision. So this Vision for Everyone resolution was sponsored by Bangladesh, Antigua and Ireland, and also it was co-sponsored by over 100 countries. So actually UNGA called on its 193 member nations to ensure access to eye care for everyone in their countries, to help at least 1.1 billion people with vision impairment who currently lack eye services by 2030. And according to the resolution, at least 2 billion people are living with vision impairment or blindness. Question number 8. Which country has registered the world's first affordable drug, Remdesivir, for treating hepatitis C? So recently Malaysia has registered this world's first affordable drug for the treatment of hepatitis C, and this has paved the way for accessible treatment to millions of people who are affected by the disease across the globe. So this drug is named as Remdesivir, and it has been approved to be used with an existing drug, Sofosbuvir. So the new drug development was initiated by Malaysia's Ministry of Health, and it has been developed by Drugs for Neglected Disease Initiative, which is actually a Geneva-based non-profit drug organization, together with Farco, which is an Egyptian generic drug manufacturer. Now apart from it, recently Health Ministry of Russia has approved the clinical trials for combining vaccine shots manufactured by UK's AstraZeneca with Russia's Sputnik 5, and the trials are expected to be completed by March 2022. Also recently IIT Ropar has developed Amlex, which is a oxygen rationing device, and it will actually help to supply a required amount of oxygen to the patient while inhaling, and also trips when the patient is exhaling carbon dioxide. So this process will help in saving the extra oxygen which usually gets unnecessarily wasted. Then we celebrate World AIDS Vaccine Day on 18th of May, and this year the theme was Global Solidarity, and we celebrate World AIDS Day on 1st of December. So this is Vaccine Day and this is just AIDS Day, okay? So do not get confused. Question number 9. The proposed development financial institution, that is DFI, is to function under the aegis of which department of Finance Ministry? So this is under the Union Ministry of Finance, and recently it has called for name, logo and tagline from the citizens of India for the proposed new DFI in India. So the setting up of this DFI for financing infrastructure projects was announced in the Budget 2021, and in this regard the Parliament has passed the NABFID bill, which stands for the National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development Bill, in the month of March 2021. Now apart from it, recently the IFC, that is International Finance Corporation, which is the investment arm of World Bank Group, has extended a loan of $250 million to HDFC Bank to boost affordable housing finance in India. And under this loan agreement, at least 25% of the financing has been allocated for green affordable housing. Also, recently Union government has proposed to set up NRF, that is National Research Foundation, to strengthen the research ecosystem in the country. And the proposed outlay for this NRF is 50,000 crore rupees over a period of 5 years, and it will mainly focus to facilitate research at academic institutions like universities and colleges. Coming to last question, Shahroz Kashif, who has become the youngest person to reach the summit of K2, belongs to which country? So he is a 19-year-old mountaineer from the country Pakistan, and recently he has become the youngest person to reach the summit of K2, which is the world's second highest mountain peak, with an altitude of 8,611 meters from MSL, that is mean sea level. And recently in the month of May 2021, he scaled Mount Everest also and became the youngest person from Pakistan to scale the world's highest peak. Now apart from it, 26th of July is celebrated as Vijay Divas every year, and which marks the India's victory against Pakistan in the Kargil war, which lasted for more than 3 months in Jammu Kashmir and along the line of control. And which operation is related to this war? It is Operation Vijay. Now apart from it, USA, Afghanistan, Pakistan and Uzbekistan have made a principal agreement recently to establish a new quadrilateral diplomatic program with the primary aim to enhance regional connectivity. Also, Pakistan was in news because FATF, that is Financial Action Task Force, has decided to leave Pakistan in its grey list. And some more countries have been added in its grey list. Which are they? Malta, Haiti, Philippines and South Sudan. Do remember that Ghana has been removed from the grey list of FATF these days. Now let's start with today's quiz. Here on the slide you can see 5 questions which have been taken from the past 2-3 days current affairs. Pause the video and try to solve each of these questions. And at the end of the lecture, do not forget to share your scores in the comment section. So please be honest and do not cheat with yourself. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked the session. These were the important news and events from today, and we will meet again tomorrow with some more important current affairs. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, me Nuzhat Sana signing off.